not a rock on. Good evening, Mzansi. The baddest primetime trio has just landed on your timeline to kickstart your weekend. You're watching Trending SA right here on SABC3. I go by the name of King Loot. And helping me keep it real is the super talented man who goes by Mo Fizzle, my nizzle. I'm talking about the man who says good morning at 6 a.m. and good night at 6 p.m. Mo Flavor.
Radio and TV every day, all day, 8 days.
Hey, Mo, plug yourself.
More Fizzle in the building.
And we've got the man who never forgets that he's from Durban. He tries really hard, and we try really hard, but nobody gets a chance. But he's an emperor, self-claimed. Mabla, what it do? Ola ops, eta ola.
Eta Majimbos. Right here, I think that's the first time
Ever.
the word Majimbos was ever on SABC3.
Yo. All right, well, listen, I'm just wondering how our guest is feeling right now with all this madness in the studio. But let me tell you, Clegg is a multi-talented musician. He's got a golden voice. I mean, the South African singer-songwriter, guitarist, pianist. I mean, you can, elevate that list. 4 fire albums that have basically taken him to the next level. Platinum level, that's what I'm talking about. Son of a legend, of course, Johnny Clegg. And we know that Jesse, in his own right, has forged his way in the industry as a fine musician to be one of the most celebrated artists in the game. He's joining us right now. Good evening.
Intro.
Thank you.
How's
You
that?
for having me.
How's that intro?
It was good. I've actually only released 3 albums, but I'll take it.
We had to add a bit of glow,
Adding albums,
just glow it
adding
up.
albums. I'm working on the 4th one.
I mean, look, it was a couple of years ago, I mean, probably just over 10 years ago when you released, I think, your first album.
Yeah.
And when you look at your career and how everything has happened then, obviously a lot has happened. But take us back to that moment and what was going on with you, sort of musically as well.
I mean, I was just writing songs in my bedroom. I never really intended to become a professional musician or anything. Obviously music was in my family, but I was always, I'd seen a life of music and I'd seen the ups and the downs. There's lots of inspiring moments, but there's also a lot of discipline, a lot of traveling, time away from family. So I kind of knew what that was. But it was only when I actually fell in love with songwriting and I started actually making my own music and I found my voice that I decided, okay, this is something that I can do and this is something that I feel excited to try and test myself in. And here we are 10 years later.
It's crazy.
Jesse, last year you released an album called Speed of Light. Now, Jesse, this is during COVID. Everything has slowed down. This is you talking about speed.
Wow.
Let's start with the name. What inspired the name?
Man, I wrote the song just before lockdown started. I was actually in LA, I was recording it, and we were doing I had a whole lot of stuff lined up, and I was going to be there for a few months. And then as we started recording, the lockdown came, and I had to fly home. And there was something about this song that just felt important for right now, because it's about someone going through a dark moment, but finding this moment of inspiration and passion, and how it can just hit you at the speed of light. These inspiring moments can just happen. No matter what sort of phase of life you're going through, you can just be inspired sometimes. And I just thought that was a good message for this moment that we're going through.
That someone happened to be the Earth.
Yeah. Talking globally right now.
The Earth really needs some inspiration, though. Genuinely.
Yeah.
So next week you're releasing a music video for Speed.
Yeah.
Can you give us a TrendingSA exclusive, who you're featuring on the video, the creative process? What can we look forward to? Something that...
Yeah, this is actually the first time I'm even talking about it, man.
Yes.
Awesome.
There we go.
And it's about, as I said, it's about someone, finding inspiration and finding their passion. And we follow the story of an amazing young South African. Her name is Chelsea Sloan Samuels, and she's an athlete. She's a runner, and she comes from a challenging background, but she's actually, pushed herself and chased her dream, and she's now a professional athlete, and she's doing her thing. And it's kind of her story in a way. It's got like an autobiographical thing, and it kind of follows her as she's chasing her dream and all the ups and downs that she faces. And it's a great South African story, and it just feels like it connected to the song, because it's about that thing of chasing your dream and the passion and the excitement that you can face when you do that.
You recorded your first project in Canada, then you recorded this one in LA, and apparently Black Coffee was there. I see you.
It was.
So how is it? Is it a different energy and a creative process in a different city? So when you're in LA, is the mood different? Is the experience different? Is the vibe different? Do you kind of flip things around versus when you're in Canada? Is it a different mood altogether? Like how does it even have an effect on your creative process?
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, I think, you know, for me, it's just being out of my comfort zone. You know, I've done a lot of writing here and I've worked with different people, and I just wanted to be in a completely different context, work with people that I hadn't worked with before. You know, that always inspires you and pushes you in different directions.
Yeah.
And as you say, like, there's just lots of big names in LA. You know, you're a small fish in a big pond, so you have to bring your A game.
Yeah.
You want to be the best version of yourself, and a lot of the time you working with people who haven't heard of you or they don't know who you are. So you just all you have is what you can bring to the table in terms of here we are, we're in a studio session. What are we going to do today?
Yeah.
You know? So I love that challenge. That for me is super.
Jesse, like me, you come from a royal house. Obviously mine, I'm the emperor. You are in the royal house of music. You're a child of a legend, like the most legend. As a Zulu man, I pay homage.
Thank you.
What did you learn from that great man, both in terms of life and music?
Man, that is a very long answer. But, you know, I think my dad was my hero. He was my father. He was my role model. We were very close, man. We had a really deep connection, and you know, it's been a tough time for the family, you know, since he passed. Still dealing with it and working through the emotions. But he lived by example, and he was someone who gave his life to his music and his art and his activism. And I think that it's just a wonderful example to aspire to. You know, like if I could look back on a life well lived. In his case, I would be really proud. So,
can you see, guys? This is what This is what happens when you're raised by a Zulu man. This is what happens.
Well, Jesse, there's no question about the fact that you've had truckloads of inspiration coming from different quarters, different corners of the world, different people. So we look ahead to the future. Yes, you've got immediate projects, but beyond that, what is it that you're looking forward to with the year ahead as well? What can you expect?
Man, I can't wait to play gigs again.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure there are a lot of people who can't wait to
I'm dying out here. I'm just like, you know, it's been a weird time, you know, for musicians especially, because we understand the situation, and it's unfortunate that, you know, performances are the one thing that actually puts people at risk. You know, so you have to be sensitive to that.
Yeah.
But having not played in a couple of months, it's been really interesting. Like, I really have missed it, and it's the longest time I haven't performed for in my whole life almost. You know. And I think for me that's something that I'm really excited for. Obviously, you know, finishing my album and writing more music, but performances, when it happens, it's going to be a good day.
I certainly believe that, and I think a lot of people are hungry for live music and that energy. But we've got to get a couple of things right first.
Yeah.
Jesse, 100%. You have an incredible career. Yeah. Good luck with album number 4.
Here we go.
And thank you so much for joining us, man. All the best.
Thank you so much.
And hopefully we'll get to see you live in action. I don't know why we're not doing a live performance here, but you know, it's fine. We'll talk about it some other time. Right? Listen, we still have some more interesting conversations coming your way, so please stay with us, because coming up after the break, we're going to be hanging out with one of the stars in the world of design, Sello, Medupe. We're going to be talking all things fashion, especially around this latest collection of him that's taken him all the way across the globe. Listen, you don't want to miss out on that.
Welcome back to #TSA on 3. Our guest tonight is the brain behind the rising South African fashion house, Sello, which has become synonymous with futuristic, edgy, modern and elegant clothing. Since its inception, the brand has graced and wowed fashion enthusiasts at local and international fashion shows.
Absolutely. In fact, his creativity, the psychedelic designs and just the understanding of trends has really set him apart from his peers. I mean, you know, we talk about numerous accolades under his belt, including, by the way, designing the first African Barbie doll outfit.
Sure.
It was launched in 2019, great success, and it's obviously placed him on the map as far as fashion people to watch in that particular space. Fresh, you know, emerging in a great space, and of course we know that even just recently showcasing in New York at that fashion week. I mean, that is big. Let's welcome Carlo, the man behind the brand. I'm tempted to call you Sello, but it's fine. I know you're building a brand.
Look at you getting comfortable.
No problem.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's beautiful because, I mean, it was just recently where you were showcasing your designs at New York Fashion Week. It was like a 10th anniversary, Emerge. I mean, that's big. And I'm just curious, knowing that, of course, they showcase a lot of, you know, dope designers on the come-up, etc. How did you get on there? Was it sliding into DMs? Was it sending emails? Was it WhatsApp?
Funny you should say that. Actually, that's exactly how it happened. So she approached me on Instagram, DM. We saw your work. We'd really like to work with you. Can you come and showcase at New York? It's under New York Fashion Week. And I was like, oh my God, is this really happening?
Yeah.
Because growing up, you know, it has been one of my dreams ever since, you know, and for it to happen now, especially during this pandemic, it's quite amazing, and I should be grateful. And
Paint us a picture of New York Fashion Week. Sorry, how do you prepare for it? Where do you start? What are the highlights? What are the lowlights? Like, what is the whole experience like?
Okay, preparing for an international show is, for me personally, different from any other show, because then, for me, it's always about representing the continent and the country. So I have to make sure everything is on point, especially when it comes to the designing, the styling, and, you know, the whole works, the makeup, the production.
That's worldwide.
I have to plan it while I'm still this side.
Yeah.
So that when it gets that side, it's as perfect as it is. So it's not easy though, because of the money aspects, especially if you want to really push it. And for me, doing a lot of couture of late, that requires a lot of, you know, budgets and all those things. But with perseverance, you'll find a way. Yeah.
You are South Africa's very own fashion god, maybe the world's fashion god. You have dressed, let me just count them, Lira, Thembisiete. You've dressed Miss Universe, Uzozibini Tunzi, and Miss South Africa. Ne? So when you look back in 2009, when you started this journey, what do you attribute your success to?
I would say to God, you know. He has really been there for me throughout. You know, growing up from a township, you start to think, or you start to question yourself, because not a lot of things are available for you to, you know, to push yourself. So growing up, I used to buy magazines, and I used to, you know, watch a lot of fashion TV. And at home, they'll be like, okay, what is happening? What's going on here? And for my mother, it seemed like it is something that Umama Wase next door would be doing. It's not really a career where you can make money and be successful. But I just told myself that, you know what, if it's meant for me, it will happen.
So we have to talk about the creative process that you embark on, you know, when you are putting your looks together. I mean, what does it involve?
Sure. With me, it
that
starts with an
dress.
idea. I have to be inspired, and then it goes to sketching, and then it goes to pattern, and then from there we go to the production.
The professional.
And everything else. But inspiration is crucial for me.
Scarlett, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for
it was lovely to actually be surrounded with greatness. I normally have to do this job alone,
Wow.
but
Yeah.
thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing the light with me.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Not forward man dragging us. Never.
Guys, stay tuned. After the break, we bring you our latest installment of Connected Family with Olwethu Leshabane, brought to you by our besties at Vodacom's Everyone Connected campaign. And later, we meet our Weather Fellow, Lemii Loco. See you in a minute.
I've lived this night 100 times. If this tunnel and show me the
Yeah, that's what we're about, the vibes. Welcome back to Ta on 3. Now, are you dealing with a baby and have baby blues? where you can't manage to keep a leash on the little ones? Well, hashtag Connected Family, connected by Vodacom's Mom and Baby initiative, is just a click away. The Mom and Baby service is another way that Vodacom is keeping parents digitally healthy and connected for free through this initiative and, of course, innovative solutions which are aimed at easing their parental concerns.
And now it's time for this week's installment of Connected Family with Olwethu Leshabane in partnership with Vodacom's Everyone Connected campaign. Take a look.
Hi, welcome to Connected Family with Olwethu Leshabane in partnership with Vodacom's Everyone.Connected campaign. In this installment of Connected Family, I will tackle that daunting task of creating a routine whilst homeschooling. I'm also going to plug you with Vodacom's eSchool platform, which has really cool content that you and your super smart kids can continue using for that extra lesson or that time that you might have missed out on class. Register your little ones today on vodacom.mytopdog.co.za for free online education. So here's the thing, I'm not a teacher. I think I'm a pretty awesome mom, but teacher? No, not quite. So it's extremely important for me to set out a routine in the house that will aid homeschooling and create a flow for all of us. If we want to stay on track and focused, whether it's homeschooling or even when we get back to school, maintaining a good family calendar really does help. In our home, we have a routine that is set out for the kids according to their age, and everyone gets involved in setting it out. The routine is not centered around homeschooling because we're not teachers, we're parents, but rather around the activities that are essential, such as brushing their teeth and showering in the morning and dinner and bath time in the evening. And then we add things like morning walks or a morning workout, and then homeschooling for no more than 2 to 3 hours a day, which is age dependent as well. Do you feel like you need to supplement or catch up on missed school? The Vodacom eSchool platform has amazing lessons for that in between your day. And you also know your child, so monitor how much of an attention span you can get out of them in order to make homeschooling so much less burdensome for their brilliant minds. Include the kids in the process of scheduling the routine by allowing them to draw it up and use magazine cutouts to depict their day on pieces of paper they can put on the fridge or in their bedroom. Remember to be flexible with your schedule because what worked today may not work tomorrow. They're children after all, not robots. A better home routine will result in better homeschooling for both you and your little ones. I hope this was insightful and practical for you and your family. Join me next week as we connect the dots and make parenting in the digital era for mommy and daddy so much more friendly. From the Connected Family and myself, Olwethu, your digital doula, back to you in studio.
Parenting dilemmas and hassles shouldn't be a nightmare, so visit Vodacom's Mum and Baby platform for all your parenting hacks and to keep you and your beautiful family connected. You can access Vodacom Mum and Baby with the information on your screen right now.
All right, so our worth of follow for tonight is self-accredited relationship expert, music curator, DJ, 2020 nominated digital content creator. He's funny, especially when it comes to this relationship series that he's got online. It's basically taken him to another level in that world of being a content creator. Basically, what we're saying is he is the one to watch. Let's welcome the man of the moment, Lemii. What's up?
How's it, guys? How you guys doing?
We are good.
We're good. We've got some relationship advice that we need on this table.
Yeah,
If you've
some of
been
us are looking for
watching
billionaires,
this
so I'm
week-
gonna need, yeah.
So, many
told
people.
I tell everybody all the time, if you're looking for a billionaire or somebody with the money, you must play around with people with money. We can't see you at the quarter place and the what, looking for billionaires.
Lemii, a lot of people actually know you as a music curator and a DJ. And recently you've become like the Oprah of relationships online. I just want to ask, take me back, Kuti, how did this come about? How did you make this decision?
Look, I was just seeing dust myself, and I thought, you know what? I've seen so much dust in my life. let me share my experiences to help people avoid the dust. And, you know, it just kind of took a life of its own.
Nothing like a little life experience to, you know, just pull you back
Yeah.
and have you very inspired by people. So this week a video session rather of you and social media star Caesar went viral on the timeline, where he candidly, you know, was very open about his relationship troubles with his current bae. So what did you actually say to him for those who didn't catch your IG live? What is the advice?
So basically, I said, you know, before you let people back into your life, just remember the disrespect. You know, often we kind of let people back into our lives forgetting what they did to us. So I always say, you know, when you start feeling like letting people back into your lives, just remember the disrespect.
So here's the thing, Lemii. We look at content creation. It's saturated. A lot of people trying to do different things online. Is there like a secret to going viral? Is there like a way in which you got to do it? Because we all know that the space is booming and you've got to find different ways to stand out from the next person.
I think it's just being authentic. You know, people think it's an act that I put on when I go online and give advice, but it's just generally me giving people relationship advice of things that I've been through, you know, so it's not an act that I have to put on. And, you know, the reactions are authentic, the advice is authentic. So I think it's just be yourself.
Okay. Lemii, what has been the biggest relationship dilemma, like a mjolo dilemma, like the biggest mjolo dust that you've had to deal with on your series? And how did you handle it? I hope you mentioned the one that I think you will.
Yeah, I know there's two actually. There's one where a lady was dating a guy who was dying from cancer and decided to cheat on the guy because says that he's not going to take care of the guy. I was like, but why are you with the guy? You know, and then there was a lady who decided to go to the dark side to keep the guy. And it was a mess. It was a mess. Like, it gets pretty extreme, but I think it's the reality of, it's the reality and the conversation that we don't have about the reality of relationships. You know, people go to extremes. They get desperate to make relationships work and start going down those routes. But I think that's why that live is there, so that we can tap into the real conversations about relationships.
Sure. All right, Lemii. Sure. Okay, it's fine. That's all I wanted to say.
Lemii, when's the next video coming through? When are we getting the next video?
On Thursday. Oh, no, not Thursday. I'm lying. Sometime soon.
I'm camping. I am going to be, this time I'm not missing out. I'm camping. Find me a man's.
Thank you so much, Lemii. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Guys.
We are looking forward to the video that's coming. Hopefully we keep it within the light.
Thank you so much. We definitely will. Now, as long as my X button is back. I didn't have an X button the last time to kick the lady off. But as long as it's back. But thank you so much for having me, guys.
Nice one. There we go, man. There's something about taking relationship advice from a DJ that is making I, as a DJ, very uncomfortable. I don't know. It just...
Because it's going to expose all your ways.
It's just like, really...
You have the most experience because y'all been around the block.
I think Lemii is the answer for us DJs. You see, we can do it.
No, that is a lie. And that's where we're going to leave it tonight. Tomorrow, the incredibly talented Abigail Visagie takes the 4th seat on our infamous roundtable discussion. You don't want to miss that. See you tomorrow at 6 p.m. right here on SABC3. Good night.